I think the thing that concerns me the most about the current situation is the miscalculation on both sides with respect to this. I don't think we have a full understanding of what Iran's objectives are and where they're trying to go with this. And I think it's important that we are very clear with what our objectives in the area are. Understanding that, I think, is important for us to move towards a diplomatic solution. The area that concerns me, I think, is the one that we've seen most recently in the news and in activities there has been the maritime environment. I think this is an area where there is a great opportunity for miscalculation. But I also worry about other areas where Iran operates and where we have U.S. military forces and we have U.S. interests and where we could be vulnerable to attacks by Iranian proxies or others who may be in these areas. And so I think we have to be concerned about that. I think it's important for most Americans to understand that we have to take these threats from Iran very seriously. And I have good confidence and trust in the military leadership and our political leadership as we navigate through this. And it is very important that we work our way through this very deliberately and try to prevent miscalculations in all of these environments that we're bumping up against Iran in. Yeah, I think this is a great question, and I know that many American citizens are concerned about the Middle East because we've been engaged there militarily for decades, and so I do recognize there is a little bit of fatigue that comes along with that. But I think it's really important for our average American citizens to understand that we still retain vital national interests in the Middle East and in that region. These run the gamut from ensuring that the region can't be used as a platform to attack our country. Certainly, we saw what happened on 9/11 when we allowed certain portions of the region to be used and be controlled by terrorists and what they could do. So we cannot allow that to happen again. Secondly, we have to recognize that this is an area where there are weapons of mass destruction. And so preventing proliferation of weapons of mass destruction in this area is particularly important. And it's particularly more important because of the presence of violent extremist groups that would love to get their hands on that. I think it's also important to recognize that the region is the home to three great maritime choke points that together control upwards of 50% of the commerce of the world. And while the United States is less dependent on oil coming from the Middle East, many of our partners are. And so it remains very, very important. And so ensuring access to these global commons and ensuring freedom of commerce through this area, I think, is extraordinarily important. And then I think the final one that most Americans should understand is that it's in our interest to maintain a favorable balance of power in the Middle East. We have had that for a long period of time, and that has served us well to be viewed as a positive force, to be viewed as the influential power broker in the Middle East. And I think that's an important role that we want to maintain.